All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wahaha, Quadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing His truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders, the great millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And this is going to be another one of those early morning lessons. I wanted to go into how this society, this country, known as America, but in the Holy Scriptures is known as Babylon the Great, was designed and created for us to be dependent on this system. And a matter of fact, the moment you're born in this society, you're born with a birth certificate, which, you know, like Apostle Gabar had brought out before in the past. Okay, a birth certificate is basically a certified slave certificate, basically indicating that you are owned by the so-called elites. Because when your mother, you know, gave birth to you in this society, okay, you know, when your mother gave birth to you in this society, when she signed that birth certificate, she basically signed you over to the government. Okay, she signed you over to the government. So, you know, you was born a debt slave. And basically, the moment you was born in this society, you was born in this society to be dependent on the system. You know? This is why you have to go to particular department stores to buy your clothes, your shoes, your hygiene products. You have to go to particular grocery stores to buy food. Okay, if you want a car, you got to go to your enemy for that. And in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, a part of the curses which the Lord put upon our people was what? The Lord said that we will go to our enemies for the want of all things. And He shall put a yoke of iron upon our neck until He have destroyed us, which during the time of slavery, we physically had a yoke of iron on our necks. But in this generation, the yoke of iron is now on the minds of our people. And that's why, like Yahweh Shai said, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And because our people don't have the love of the truth, they don't have the love of the Lord, our people are remaining dependent on Esau Edom's system. And this is why our people are out there in droves protesting. They're rallying, they're rioting, they're bugging out because they're losing snap, because they have been dependent on the government so long. They still got the yoke of iron on their minds that they don't believe that there is another way out of this. So our people, the majority of our people here in America, they don't have the love of Yahweh Shai. Okay? So leaning and being dependent on this system is going to lead to you taking the RFID chip, which is the MAR to the K OFBEAST. So Isaiah 10 and 20, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and the remnant of Israel is all throughout the Holy Scriptures, from the book of Genesis even to the book of Revelation. There has always been a remnant within the nation of Israel who would stick to the traditions of Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, not averting from it. Now, and of course, don't get me wrong, we've all sinned in our past lives, but inevitably, there will always be a remnant that will be subject to obedience unto Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, even unto death. And these men are back today. Okay, what did the Lord tell Elijah? The Lord told Elijah, I have preserved to myself 7,000 men which have not bowed the knee to Baal. Okay, 7 is just a number which represents completion. There is a complete number of men that are Israelites, and women that are Israelites, and children that are Israelites, that the Lord is going to have mercy on in these last days, whom the Lord is going to preserve from bowing the knee. So it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, such as are escaped from the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote him. And who smote us? Our enemies did. Where can our enemies be found at? In the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter. It gives you a list of our enemies that basically attacked us during the dark ages and basically helped the Edomites to put us into subjection under them. Okay? Now, when it says they shall no more stay upon him that smote them, that word stay goes into dependency. The elect of the nation of Israel is going to depart from this society. Let's go to Micah real quick. Micah chapter 2, verse 10. Okay? Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. So when it says depart, that does not mean get up and move to a different country. You know, it is a mindset. Okay? Do you believe in this system? Or are you going to depart from this system and lean on Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai? The elect of the nation of Israel is going to lean on Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai. Okay? The elect is not going to be dependent on this system, because everyone who remains dependent on this system is going to be led to taking a chip in order to eat, in order to have peace and safety, in order to have comfort. And they will have nothing, they will own nothing, and they will be so-called happy. It is all an illusion of happiness. Real happiness is when you have substance, when you have materials, when you have land, when you have cattle. That's happiness. How the fuck can you own nothing and be happy? Back in the ancient world, where things were different, we used to have our own land. We used to have our own houses. We used to own our own property. And we were happy with that. We were content with that. But here comes the serpent from the garden No, that sorcerer, that man who was called a serpent in the Garden of Eden, Nakash, okay? You know, here he come with his idea and his philosophies telling you that, you know, you don't need to live by God's standards, you know? Did God say that you can, you know, you should own your own land and toil the ground and do this, that, fourth, and the other, and the land Sabbath and blah, 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 blah? Bro, what if I told you that there's a better way? So the serpent came to Eve, deceived Eve, and then caused Eve to cause Adam to go off. And what we see around us today is the end result of what the serpent led Eve to do in the garden, and the end result of what Eve led Adam to do in the garden, which was to sin as well. And this is the end result. You got GMO foods everywhere. The air is polluted. You can't breathe. For real. You're not breathing in real. You're not breathing in fresh air. Okay. The water has been tainted. There's microcosmic shrimp in your drinking water. There's fluoride in your drinking water, chlorine in your drinking water, lead in your drinking water. Okay. You know, your food is being packaged in plastic, which contains bisphenol, a chemical that causes cancer, hypertension in pregnancy, okay? Eroding teeth, infirmity of the eyes, breaking down the immune system. Okay? So this is the end result. So departing from this society starts with a mindset, you know? A mindset of not depending on the system no more, but putting your dependency on Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. So arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. So let's go back. Isaiah 10 verse 20, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, the Holy One of Israel. And that's where, you know, Lord's will, if we're of the elect, right? Our dependency is going to be on Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, when we can no longer eat, because there's a systematic famine going on. When, you know, when we're going to need some form of, you know, safety, security, you know. Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai is going to provide for those things for his elect, you know. Just got to have faith and belief. So with that, I'm going to say shalom. Is on to the next one.